I am aware he's got a lot of problems going on away from the show and in his personal life. And do you know what, if he wasn't admitting to anything, because it was very difficult, because I was in a position where they didn't catch it on camera because it's in the toilet, so he could have turned around and said I was lying about the whole thing. And that's something that was in the back of my mind as well, which kind of really did upset me. But as soon as he came out, he admitted to what he'd done. And the reason I didn't press charges was, for me, I know how court goes. It's a very long process. You don't move on, you don't put it behind you, you relive the same day until the court case is finished with. And for me, I didn't want to re-crucify Jeremy when he knew he'd done wrong.
This is what he said when he came on here.
I was drunken and with vomit on my face, and I leaned like this to lift her robe to see, here, this the strap, is what bikini is this today? And she didn't have a bikini on, and then that's when it turned into a naughty situation.
That was his views.
There were other things that he said here. He said it's the public eye, it's terrible. Chloe's feelings were hurt, and I possibly touched on a chord, something in her life that triggered a response, and she felt hurt. And I was the one that made her feel bad, and I feel terrible for that. You mentioned at the beginning of our chat here that it did bring back memories. Are you prepared to say what those memories were?
Yeah, I've spoken. Do you know what? I hadn't spoken about this since the incident when I was 18, and people go on and say, well, you know, you're a glamour model, you do this, you do page 3. I'd just like to put the rumours to bed. Shortly after the incident happened, when I was 18, I actually quit glam modelling for good, and I will never, ever go back to the industry just because it brings back too many hurtful memories. And I then turned into a commercial model where, yes, I did carry on doing lingerie and bikini, but that is commercial modelling. That's not page 3 or anything in that industry. Well, I'd been in the glam modelling industry a good few months at this point. I'd felt, and it gave me a lot of confidence I'd never had before. And I'd, you know, as you do, you gain confidence in people and trust in people, and unfortunately I began to trust the wrong person. And obviously at the time I didn't realise it was the wrong person. And to which point, you know, towards the end of me obviously shooting with him, he took advantage of me, didn't he, really?
Is that as far as you'd like to go? Listen, there's absolutely no reason for you to relive this again, so shall we stop there? Don't get upset, sweetheart. You really don't deserve to be upset again here.
Do you know what, I haven't cried about it since...
No, I know. I know, but
then, and then obviously when I was on the Celebrity Big Brother, it's just but
it's
one of those things,
because you say that you haven't spoken about these things, and so you can box these situations off, and you move on with your life, and suddenly you try not to think about it, but it's not until you do talk about it that the emotions come to the surface again, of course.
Which is why it's interesting, because suddenly there are a lot of people who are very happy to say, oh, she overreacted, oh, she went too far. And it's very easy for people to judge without knowing that there could be something in your past that could be triggered. It could bring back memories. You didn't tell anyone about the fact that you'd been abused by this person in the past.
No.
A person that you looked on in a professional capacity, I should say. And so no one is to know that.
No.
I knew, like, when I was, like, very young, that there was something wasn't right, because I used to have these tantrums and that. And I used to, like, exploding all the time at my mum and